Hello and welcome back to more Phoenix Wright Hello and welcome back to more Phoenix Wright Attorney Trials and Tribulations, where in the last episode, we had what I presume to be our final investigation section for Recipe for Turnabout, in which we discovered some very interesting things about, if I can access the profiles, can I get the profiles, please, thank you. We learned interesting things. We learned more about the Tender Lender, about how, the Tiger got into a car accident with Viola Cadaverini, which resulted in a very expensive surgery and the reason why this guy right here paid for it is because this girl's grandfather is the head of the Cadaverini family crime syndicate. So, you know, put two and two together, and there's our motivation for the $1 million bill of cranial surgery, which was due last year. And then we have all the other evidence that ties everything together. So I think we have a pretty good idea what's going on now, and now all we gotta do is go to trial and prove it. Good morning, Maggie. So, what do you think is going to happen today, sir? Yesterday's trial session didn't go so well, it ended on a giant mystery. That's true. And we still haven't solved a single part of it yet. That's not entirely true. We at least... Well, I mean, okay, so we don't have to have a way to prove definitively that it wasn't her, but we at least have the motive. So when it comes time for motivations, we have that much established at least. Are you okay, Nick? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes. No, that wasn't doubt, that was determination. It's nearly time, Maggie. You better get going to the defendant's seat. Roger, don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you.
Hey, pal!
Hey, Detective Gumshoe.
Quit stressing Maggie out, she doesn't need that.
How did you know she was stressed?
I was watching through the doorway.
Oh.
You look like you lost the case already. Show me the confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this'll help.
Huh? Have you taken up aromatherapy too?
Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me that you don't remember that thing.
Don't worry, I do. I just completely forgot. I remember it now that you show it to me, but I did actually forget to check for the sample results.
This is a small bottle that I turned up in Travian's kitchen a couple days ago.
Wow, look at all these little bottles! Oh, they're aromatherapy oils. You got so many overthrowing on the floor. Hey, wait a minute! This one bottle is different from all the others. Well, what do you know? And it doesn't have a label either. And it doesn't smell.
We finally got the analysis results back from the lab.
So, what is it? Is it the poison?
I'm afraid not, pal.
That's disappointing.
It's a medication.
Medication? Medication?
Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently.
For ears? You mean...
Yeah, it's the medication Glenn was using for his ruptured eardrum.
What was Glenn Elg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Okay. Did you find any fingerprints on it? What about the... what about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that?
Someone screwed up so they could only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour and they might have gotten something on the prints, but...
That's going to weaken its impact as a piece of evidence.
Okay, pal. This is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today. Got it?
Today's trial, I'm going to expose that guy for what he's done, or my name isn't Phoenix Wright, it's Zin Eop. January 8th, 10 o'clock a.m., District Court, courtroom number 4. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Ready and waiting as always, Your Honor.
Very good. Then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems.
The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank it with the right hand, but according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left hand.
Thank you, Mr. Godot. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet, the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick? You and your stupid coffee.
Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world, you see, keeps turning and we must turn with it.
You've lost me already, Mr. Godot.
Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think that. You've got to change with the times, that's one of my rules.
Are you implying that you've resolved these contradictions?
You know the answers to these riddles? The old guy wasn't just throwing seed in here, he was throwing us off a scent. And today I'll prove it.
Very well. Let the first witness take the stand.
And you are?
Oh, bonjour, everyone. Oh, I am Jean Armstrong, the owner and the chef of Le Trisbian Restaurante. Enchanté.
Forgive me for asking, witness, but are you a woman?
Ooh la la, monsieur. As you can see, I am the Bert and Perky gentleman, no?
On the day of the incident, you were in Trabian's kitchen. Isn't that right?
Oui, monsieur. Everything feels right.
Ha.
Wow, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy?
Very well. Your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened that day at Trabian.
Oui, Fontaneuse.
Okay.
When it all happened, there were just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decors that day. Like having a large mirror between the tables for...
There was a mirror there. There was a mirror there. Let me just check something really quickly. Okay, so where's your testimony? Where is it? Did you not? Wasn't there? I thought he left some piece of paper for the testimony. Did he not? I could have sworn. Ah, here we go. When into the card, I broke the vase of my seat. Okay, never mind. I thought maybe that would be left over. Okay, so didn't we? Let me check. The victim was a programmer where an HMD over left eye, left eardrum was ruptured. So the earpiece would have been in the right ear, and the HMD was over the left eye. So that still doesn't explain. So okay, so what's probably gonna happen here is,
oh, there was a mirror in the middle of the restaurant. Therefore, Sacre Bleu! Victor must have just gotten confused because he saw it through the mirror.
but that doesn't then explain it because he says they were on the same side. The mirror, it would only make sense if he said the earpiece was in the left ear and the HMD was on the right eye. Then it would make sense for the mirror to be there because then they'd be reversed, right? But that's not the case here. He said they were on the same side. No mirror in the world fixes that problem.
Oui, perhaps this is what the old man was looking at. Look up the earpiece and the glasses. He would have seen everything in reverse.
No, because that's not how this works. Mirror?
Oui, un grand mirror, the most enormous mirror.
And suddenly the mystery disappears. Like I said, the wheel keeps turning, so roll with it.
That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front.
What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
With pleasure. Okay. So, I'm not sure if you're familiar with how mirrors work, but, it does not protect Victor from his testimony. Let me just get this. The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kuda's testimony for a second, shall we?
The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lines of his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear without a doubt.
So to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kuda saw all that as a reflection in a mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side.
Exactamente, you see, monsieur. Now that you think about it, it is not so hard, no?
Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kuda really did see everything in a mirror, why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head?
Order, order. Mr. Wright. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's earpiece to have been over his right eye.
How bitter. Trot, you should have a taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time.
Are we talking about your coffee or something completely different?
You don't understand the way the witness thinks.
Oh, he thinks?
You remember this, I presume?
The I broke the vase sorry apology Mr. Kuda's sworn testimony.
Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elg?
Clearly, it's the victim's eyepiece.
And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Elg's HMD made a big impression on the old man. I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh yes, they were both on his left ear. Do you hear his left ear? Ha. Well, Trite.
That's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever.
Wow, I really thought he was old CD for a minute there. Go, that's good.
Enough! I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in most of his testimony.
Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction you found is just a rash.
A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on and tell the court. We're all ears.
Oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at the plans of the restaurant.
Okay, so you're gonna explain to me how the mirror... How apparently this is a magic mirror, huh?
Hello, is everyone sitting comfortably? The mirror, it was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves. There is only one seat from which you could have seen an image of the victim. That was the seat at the table next to the victim. That was where the old man was sitting.
Okay, does that make sense? I think it does. Because if the kitchen's there, that's where the waitress would have come out of. And then walks towards the table. She wouldn't have gone around the other way, she would have just gone straight to the left. So then, only would have... And if he was sitting there, then he would have seen him from the back, yeah. Get directly on his side on the mirror. Yeah, that makes sense.
After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else.
Okay.
I see no problems with the explanation we've just heard. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror.
What a naughty little coquette I am, confusing all the men like this.
Don't worry about it. We can keep up except for the guy breaking down Nicole's foot over there again.
Ah, I hate that guy.
You said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that?
Volunteers, of course.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, please.
It doesn't make any sense you would have moved the mirror out of the way, because that would be tampering with the crime scene, but... Okay, there's gotta be a contradiction in there somewhere, so... Let's look at the crime photo, so... Because maybe we can see if there's a mirror in here or not. This doesn't really show us anything of importance. Because I was thinking maybe that if we looked at the crime photo, we could see if the mirror was there. Because if... I mean, I guess... Here, we could say, look, there's no mirror here, but then God would just go...
The mirror is out of sight of the picture. Ha.
So there's nothing in this picture, because okay, so he was sitting there. He was sitting at the table to the left, looks at the mirror. Oh, wait a second! Wait a second! Oh no, Victor, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Armstrong, but but Victor Kudo has sealed your fate. So, let's play a game. What's wrong with this picture? Actually, you know what, let me help you out. Okay, do we still have the note that he left for us? Oh, here. When the incident occurred, I broke the vase in my seat. If that's true, why is the vase still intact at the table where Victor was allegedly sitting? I think we found ourselves a contradiction. Alright, so where did you say you were sitting at that table? Okay, it was seat next to... Yep, nope. I'm sorry, buddy, but, this photo right here says otherwise. This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we have heard, Your Honor.
Look, the crime photo?
Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist.
What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright?
Should not exist. Sounds like you're describing yourself, Wright.
Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. What is something that should not exist in the...
It would be this vase right here. I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in the picture.
The vase? What possible connection does that have with the witness's testimony,
Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on this table. Because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. There is one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all.
Don't be an idiot, Wright. That's impossible. That seems the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from.
Exactly. There is only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Trebian that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Mon Dieu!
Don't try to confuse the court, Wright. Obviously, the victim's cleaning up the bed.
Yeah.
When the police were taking the target in the crime scene.
So, oh wait, no. You don't... Okay, let me just make sure that he said it correctly. Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy, but have you seen what happens when we break something like an urn and we try to put it back together? It doesn't work. It just doesn't. I'm sorry, buddy, but you don't just clean up a broken vase. That's just not how that works. Unless he grabbed a vase from a different table and put it on that table, which I guarantee you someone in the restaurant would have stopped him from doing that. You don't just clean up a broken vase. There are shards everywhere. Even if you try your best, you're gonna miss a couple shards. I'm sorry, that's just not how that works. Unfortunately, Mr. Godot, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary. In his own words, I did not touch anything except the mirror.
Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself?
I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day.
In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an earway in which he could not hear?
Ha. You only get one shot in life, there's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, Trite, and this problem is all yours, how do you explain what the old man saw?
If I can answer this, then it'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Are you going to be okay, Nick? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick?
There's more than just one to this. There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya.
What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table, and there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing is in this case is adding up. Do we?
Well, Mr. Riley, say your answer.
Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions is Mr. Kudo made a mistake. The ear doctor made a mistake. I don't think it's this one. Well, the victim was a phony. And so it's either this one or this one. Would Mr. Kudo have made a mistake? So he seems pretty attentive to detail when it comes to the waitress's outfit, so he could have missed something. But as far as so like if Victor is confident that he saw what he saw, and he's telling the truth, then actually, you know what? Yeah, the victim was a phony. Because if Victor is confident and adamant about the fact that he is telling the truth, then what he saw was not the actual crime scene. He was the only one in the restaurant, aside from Mr. Armstrong. So Mr. Armstrong is either the accomplice or just like, yeah, I'm gonna not say anything about this. And the only person who could have seen it was Victor. So they staged a fake murder, so that Mr. Kudo would see it and think it was Maggie, because all he pays attention to is the uniform, and then they have their witness, right? This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet there is one very simple answer that clears them all up.
And what is that?
The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events.
What?
Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glennog at all. It was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake.
Order! Order in the court! Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom.
Quiet, Grumps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh?
What did you say?
Trite, are you saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup?
Yes. Someone pretending to be Glenn Elgin acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo.
Good wheel, Trite.
Why do you think anyone would want to do that, Mr. Godot? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his witness testimony was...
The servant girl brought him a cappuccino, but she put something in it. That's the servant girl, right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
It's hard to believe, but...
There was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee.
Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's store was a fake as well? It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but... It's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening.
Oh, that's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct?
Ooh la la, this is most difficult for me.
No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath, after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Trebian that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened.
The defense request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain, in detail, the events in the restaurant that day.
Oui. Ho 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 ho, la victim Montreal, he came to my restaurant alone. I remember that old man arrived not too long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word he won the lottery, Monel became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later, sadly a poisoning incident occurred. None, there was no time for a phony to do acting.
Okay, so you say the old man came not too long after him. So I have an idea. Actually, you know what, let's see what happens.
Je vous demande pardon, forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly.
What you have done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later. For now, we will hear a cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please.
He took that perjury charge a bit too well, but I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. Okay, so here's my theory. I think that once we ask him, when asked not long after him, okay, but that does not, number one, we need more specifics there. We need to know the time that Glenn Elg showed up and then how long afterward Victor showed up. Those two things, we can then compare to, where's the thing that says, okay, time that's between 1:30 and 2:30. Where's the thing that says, okay, winning lottery ticket. Where's the thing that says when the show was? Millionaire Radio Flyer, experience the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life every Monday at 1:30 p.m. If we compare the time of this to the time when he got to the restaurant, then we can prove that the incidents were separate.
Oui, it comes often from my special coffee.
I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience.
Oui, you make me so happy, monsieur. You're most welcome anytime.
I said it was worth one sip and nothing more.
So old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival. What time was it? We need to be very specific. How many minutes? I did say how many minutes after, but that doesn't tell us what we need. Something we can directly compare to the lottery ticket time. So what time was it? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived?
Oh no, I cannot remember, monsieur.
I believe we were told up by a witness yesterday.
The crime was reported at 2:25 by a kind of scary old man, sir.
Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness?
The incident happened about 20 minutes after he arrived. So the victim must have arrived between—
Oh, no. No. Oh, I'm so sorry, buddy, but you have just dug your own grave. You have just dug your own grave. Just after 2, huh?
Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful.
Ha ha ha. I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? The time of day will be added to the witness's testimony.
Oui, monsieur judge. Everything I do it all for you.
Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? Ha
I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood.
He's even humming a song to himself.
Okay. Oh, but I'm so sorry, buddy, because, as it happens, I have this little thing here called a lottery ticket, or a radio flyer, and that doesn't really line up with what you're telling me now, does it? I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong.
Okay, what do you mean?
At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week they announced the winning numbers of the $500,000 lottery ticket.
Oui, that must be the show Monel was listening to.
I can't see any problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright.
I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct?
Oui, I am sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I know it was that time, because I had just finished serving the lunch menu.
Get to the point, Troy, if you have one.
That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m., and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life.
It's on the air at 1:30?
Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m., because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over, there is only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. This victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glenn Elgs in Trabian that day. The real Glenn Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer, and the phony Glenn Elg, acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness.
It certainly seems that way. I mean, if it wasn't the case, how could you explain the time discrepancy?
Quite a performance, Troy. You were almost on a roll. But sadly, you lacked the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build you a song. Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phone in Glen Oaks performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain then whether real Glen...
He was probably in the kitchen. Right, because that actually, yeah, that makes perfect sense actually, because that's where we found the small bottle. That's where his medicine was. So he's in the kitchen, he's hidden there, and that's why the bottle of medicine was there. I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court, however, at the time the real Glen Elg was already dead.
That's certainly obvious conclusion.
Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say.
What?
No, I presume you can...
Yes, I can. I actually just can, though.
Can you explain where the missing corpse...
I can. Like, I straight up just can. That missing corpse?
According to the old man testament, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phone in Glen Elg, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim?
Yeah.
The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with... Where did the killer hide the body?
Yes, Your Honor.
No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden.
Evidence? But what's with the intense pressure here all of a sudden? I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead.
Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the inside Trabian?
It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Trabian.
Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court in these plans, Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor. The exact location where the body was concealed was just in the kitchen. The body was hidden here.
I see.
Nice supposition. But the real question is, can you back it up? What's the evidence that proves the body?
The small bottle. Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle?
No. I've never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best models, monsieur. The highest quality only for me.
Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright?
Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Trabian.
Eh? Qui? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils.
But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication.
What kind of medication?
I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elg visited an otolaryngological clinic and was given medication that day.
You can't be serious.
The defense of the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. That the contents of the bottle match the prescription that was given to Mr. Elg. Glen Elg's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time the bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen?
Wait, one, two.
Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. Ha, gotcha now.
Order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glen Elg?
Never, I could not do such an horrible thing.
No.
Oh, someone's having a cathartic coffee spree.
Mr. Godot?
The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules.
Do you have to slice it to how many cups you've had by now? Yeah, that can't be healthy.
Then I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my age-sufficient friend?
Zero demands pardon. Please, you must hear me out. It is a trap. Listen to me. Por favor.
Yo hablo español. Mr. Armstrong and por favor is Spanish.
I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it?
No. Let's
hear it. You've got one shot, right, Gramps?
Witness, the court will permit you want the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you, as does my gavel.
Oui, it is clear.
What did they always say in the movies? I've got a bad feeling about this.
Very well, begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong.
Okay. Witness testimony, the confession.
It is true, I hid the body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it, I had no choice.
I think I might know who that man is.
I had to go along with it because there was a reason I could not refuse. But I did not kill him, I swear, you must believe me.
Well, I know who the man is, and I know why you couldn't, because you had a loan contract.
You were forced by who?
I cannot say.
Well, I can say for you. Let's try a different question then. When Mr. Elg died, was he really the only person at the table?
There was another man.
I knew it. Maggie was telling the truth.
You must examine the witness now, Mr. Wright.
There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of this real killer. Well, we can do that. I can do that right now. Man wants to do it. I know who it is. It's you. Let's end this dance of Ring Around the Rosie, Mr. Armstrong. This is the man that you have been referring to.
Who is that? I feel like I've seen him somewhere before.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a month ago in this very courtroom. This man is Furio Tigre. He's the manager of a loan office called Tender Lender. There's no point trying to hide the truth anymore, Mr. Armstrong. I know you couldn't go against Mr. Let's not while he had this on you. A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything that this man told you.
Oui, it is as you say. Mr. Armstrong! The Tigger, he told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting the victim to demand his rape him his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. I carried the body and the inconsistent Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen.
I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre.
I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison in the lottery ticket that were found in the defendant's apron pocket. Was that your doing as well?
No, I knew nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it. I was not. It is despicable.
Mr. Godot, you will summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow.
30 minutes.
Oh, what?
The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand, nothing more.
How the...
Don't sit back and relax yet, Trite. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial can still go either way.
Very well, your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We will resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess.
Okay, to be continued. Alright. The final showdown is coming up against Mr. Tigre himself. Alright, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time. I hope to catch you all tomorrow for some more Phoenix Wright Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Goodbye.